got to adjust.
Yeah.
Well, since it's 4 o'clock and we do have a quorum, so excited. Way to start 2023. I'm going to turn the system on because, a reminder, we will be audio and video recorded, as all public meetings are. Rory was going to call in. Yeah.
I was going to say.
And the camera's right up there, so it's this way.
My good side.
Rory said he was going to call in, but he hasn't connected yet. Oh, you're here, Rory. Can you hear us? Okay, awesome. And I didn't hear from Ruby, so let me turn on the mic, and then we'll get going.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Both ways.
He don't have
I
to
get a
turn
hot
the video
flash.
on. He don't have to turn the video on. He just have the audio on.
I thought you said video too. You said
Yeah.
video.
Oh, yeah, video and
Yeah.
audio.
Video,
Yep.
yeah, it's both of them. It's okay. Come on, I'm ready.
We're good to go. I thought, Vera, you can go ahead and open the meeting as the chairwoman. And then I thought, go around the room and just do introductions, and then Rory on the phone can offer an introduction as well. So, Madam Chair.
Well, it is 3:04, and I'd like to call this Affirmative Action Commission meeting to order. And I'd like to say a little prayer, and then we'll go around the room. And we'll introduce each other and tell one thing that you like about yourself.
Ooh.
I apologize. Cop cars on Third and Market.
Oh.
Hi there.
Yeah, you said squad cars were, do you get pulled over?
No,
Oh.
they closed half of the, lanes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we just called the meeting to order, and I don't want to offend nobody, but whatever I do, I like to say a prayer before I do it. So, everybody don't agree, I won't do it.
I have no problem with it.
No,
It's a-
I'm
yeah.
okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gracious Father, we come today to say we thank you. We thank you for our members. We thank you, Lord, that we hadn't had a quorum since May, and you have blessed us. We got new peoples, and we are in for the count, and we want to do what is in your will. Bless us all. Bless our homes. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. My name is Vera Kelly, and I've been on this affirmative action ever since it was affirmative action. And I've seen people come and go, but I like doing what I do. You with a group, you can do things and make it better for everybody else on the same accord, and if you don't, if you have an issue, let us iron it out before we leave the meeting. And then when we come back fresh as new. And this way you'll be able to get along. We'll know what trick everybody's trigger. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it's not a paid job, so, if you want to walk away, feel free.
Yeah.
But we are just so happy to be outnumbered with commands. And my saying is that you want something done, telephone, telegraph, or tell a woman.
I love it.
So
That clip may go viral on this.
Yeah.
That was good.
Love it.
Okay. So Miss
Just go around the table.
You said name and one thing we like about ourselves? Right. My name is Jasmine Newton. I think one thing I like about myself is that I am a mother to 3 pretty cool kids. So I like to think that they're growing up to be good examples for society.
Yeah.
So, but except for the youngest, but that's another story. She's grown up to be my clone, so that should tell you everything you need to know. I will
Sure.
apologize in advance to society.
She's still got time, right? Great. To our newest member.
I am Tyler Sherwin-Cole, and I think the best thing that I like about myself, I grew up in Rock Island, and I've been here all my life, and I think I just have a passion for our community, and seeing it better. my part, and being a face for people of color, I think is very important for me, and women obviously as well. So that's what I like about me is my passion for the community.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Ruby Batimana, and I think one thing that I like about myself is, you talked about passion. I think my passion is public service. I've been a couple of different commissions before, and you talked about, being able to work together, and, being able to step away if it's not working. So I was proud to step away because that time, it wasn't working. So we just gotta, I think, figure out where we can use our talent and use it the best we can.
Hello, everybody. Malvika Shrikande, and it's wonderful to be on this commission. I've met all these people here because of that. I think this is my 8th year to be a part of this wonderful group and trying to help in the community. And I think I jumped to what you said. I've been a part of various boards and commissions, and the beauty is I always like to see how I can interconnect that and help each other. Those connections can help in making our community much more where we are. And been in Davenport since 2005, and we've enjoyed every bit of our moves right since then out here. So, thank you.
Awesome. I'll go last, though. Troy?
Yeah, my name's Troy Farley. I'm from Rock Island, born and raised. Went to Black Hawk, Augustana, St. Ambrose. I worked for John Deere for 38 years.
You work with my husband.
And I have a passion for the subject matter. My last 20 years of employment, I worked in affirmative action at Deere, so I still keep my fingers and toes in the subject matter, and I'm passionate about it. And I also have a business that I'm also a consultant, and I do affirmative action plans for government contractors, and then diversity, equity, and inclusion training. So. Yeah. My wife said I hadn't figured retirement out yet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Rory on the phone. Your turn.
Yep. My name is Rory Nimst. I am currently in Florida, which is why I'm calling on the phone.
Oh,
nice.
nice. It's nice and slushy over here.
Yeah. So I've heard. I've been on the commission for about 2 years now, or a little over 2 years, I think. I'm from Northern Illinois, went to school in Des Moines for a while, stayed there for a long time. Just moved to Davenport like 3 years ago, I think. And what was the question you guys were asking?
Tell us where you work and what's one thing you're passionate about.
One thing I'm passionate about, getting involved more in the community. That's one of the reasons why I kind of joined the commission, to just kind of be a part of it.
Absolutely. Okay. And you can hear us okay, right?
Some of you.
Okay. Just so that's the mic right there.
Okay.
That's the speaker and the mic. Just FYI. Right up here, the big square.
Oh,
Yep.
I used to thought it was there, because I sit over there.
Yeah.
When I come to the city council.
Sure.
meeting.
Yeah. So you can keep an eye on your son. That's what you. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So quick introduction to me. I'm Scott. I'm the Talent and Inclusion Administrator. So a few things that I'm involved in here. I'm housed in HR. So I'm the affirmative action liaison for the city. I run our talent program, which is our Davenport Strengths Institute, which is our 12-month strengths-based leadership institute for city staff. I do most of the training, or I'm in charge of most of the trainings that happen within the city. I usually have a hand in doing those. And then I'm also the hiring manager for our police department. So when it comes to knowledge about hiring stuff, I'm usually most in tune with what's happening across the street at the police department. And so usually I come in with that kind of mindset, but I try to broaden it out. We'll be talking a little bit about firefighter tonight as well. But I'm passionate about just seeing people grow. I like not only our staff, but even watching some of the applicants that we have for police officer. They come in as an applicant, and then watching them, get hired and then go to the academy, and then maybe accept their first promotion a couple years down the road. It's just really cool to see that growth pattern that I get to see. So, okay. Well, I think the first thing on the agenda is approval of the May minutes. If you want to go ahead and offer that.
Can I get a motion to approve of the May minutes in 2022?
So moved.
I second.
Be moved properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. One abstain, and so the ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is he there?
No, so seven. So you've got 6 yeses, 1 abstention. Yep, and I've got that recorded.
Okay, well, good.
Okay.
New business. Hiring.
So, yeah, hiring update. So I was just gonna go through, some of the things that we've been working on. One thing I do wanna say, since we only meet, we're only gonna meet 6 times this year, every other month. Anytime, this is your commission, okay, I'm just kinda guiding the ship. I don't necessarily need to be the one that does all the talking, but, if there's anything you ever want on the agenda, or you want information on, you can definitely let me know, and that can be placed on a future meeting agenda. Or if I have enough time to do some research, I can usually find out whatever information is needed as we go along, because I want this commission to be yours, driven by you, and I'll do my best to provide whatever information I can. So since I'm the hiring manager for a police officer, you have this document in front of you. It kind of goes through. Now, this was our last process. I did 5 hiring processes for a police officer in 2022, okay? We essentially went through a process, got the list certified, and then I opened another process almost right away, because we're getting good quality applicants. I'm just not getting enough, okay? I have essentially 10 openings over there right now, roughly, and
For the police department?
for the police, yes, for police officers. I could hire 10 right now, and the last list I had 3 on it. Oh, you can have it.
Thank you.
I thought I had enough copies here. So as you, so this very last process where we had 36 applicants, I'm gonna share with you.
Yeah, of course.
So this is information that I provide to the Civil Service Commission when I have them certify the list, which happens every process. We have to have a list certified. So I provide all this information. So this last process that we just certified this list, December 7th, 36 individuals applied, okay? 33 were qualified. Usually it is disclosure of drug usage within the last 3 years or the last 5 years of hard drug usage that disqualifies people. They're not qualified. So 33 were invited to schedule their testing. At that point, 1 withdrew. 6 did not even schedule their testing. 6 scheduled their testing but didn't show for the testing. 4 more withdrew after that process, and then 4 failed the physical ability testing. So you can see we whittled down really quick. So we went from 33 in the hopper down to 12. And that's very typical in every single process I do. We funnel it down. People don't show up. They ghost you after they apply. I have no understanding why they do that. But whatever. So 12 passed the physical ability testing, and they were invited to take the written examination, which is, again, both of those components are state mandated. We have to do the particular physical ability testing, and we have to provide this particular written examination for a police officer. 6 failed that test, so I was down to 6. Okay, that passed the written exam and were invited to go into the background and polygraph investigation, which is the most intensive portion of this process. Is where we dig into the background of every single person to make sure that they are a good fit, that they're qualified, and ready to be a police officer for Davenport. 1 withdrew the process because they accepted the position in another municipality at that time, and then 3 failed.
When you do a background check, how far back do you go?
For police officer, we go back as far as we want.
From a teenager on up?
Oh yeah, Yeah, even stuff before that, you know, not that stuff that we find when they were a teenager may not be disqualifiable, but we will probably find out about stuff that happened back then, absolutely. Now, we're not doing the background, it's detectives and police officers at the department that are actually assigned a candidate, and they dive all in. Now, the way we get the information is each of these candidates completes a 36-page background questionnaire where they tell us every place they've lived, every place they've worked, references. They have to disclose any previous arrest histories, all kinds of, it's a 36-page document. It's pretty in-depth. And the background investigator goes through that page by page and verifies that information, and then invites that candidate to come in as well. And there's a kind of a short interview with the investigator. There's also a polygraph that is done. Again, it's a very comprehensive process because we need to make sure we get the right people. And the three that failed, domestic violence, sexual abuse, and sexual assault were discovered in their history. So they were disqualified as candidates for us.
In other words, you know, you need to start in grade school with boys and girls and find out what they want to do, you know, kind of coach them
Absolutely.
along.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Even the drug usage, you know, if you've used like marijuana within the last 3 years, you're disqualified. Okay, there's a 3-year window. Hard drugs, it's a 5-year window. Okay. Now I've had numerous candidates say, "Well, I live in Illinois. It's legal." Well, you're applying for an Iowa agency. It's not legal here. We follow Iowa law. So at some point, there may be something that happens down the road in Iowa law, but I don't know if that'll change that.
With this administration.
Yeah, yeah, well, you're probably right, yes, very well. So,
I spoke out loud.
we're all thinking it, yeah. So that left two. That passed the background investigation, and then they were invited then to the final interview. Both candidates passed, and the final interview is with the chief, the major, who's the assistant chief, and then the 3 captains. Okay, both passed the interview. We had 2 on the list that I got certified December 7th. We hired 1 because the other gentleman took a position with Moline.
Oh,
So again, and you know,
I was here when they sworn.
all police agencies are facing the same issue, not getting enough qualified applicants to test, and you have to find the right people. You know, we had 2 on the list that we offered both of them jobs to. One decided to go with Moline, one wanted to stay here in Davenport. Okay, so we're also fighting with other agencies.
So they have to live in Davenport, right?
No, not anymore.
More
Within 20 miles of the city limits,
finally changed.
they finally changed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a typical process. I open up applications tomorrow for a police officer. And doing something different this time, I'm not gonna close the applications. I'm not doing a open window and a closed window. I'm doing a continuous process. So it may be open 6 months, I don't know. And one thing I'm gonna be doing differently too is I'm gonna have a variety of different test dates that individuals, so once they apply, I'll review their qualifications, and within 24 hours, I'll notify them, okay, you're qualified, pick a test date, and we'll see you then. And as soon as they get through, and if they are successful, then they go right into the background through the same process. And then as individuals do different testing, they'll go into the back. So kind of have a revolving door kind of thing, where I'll have people just beginning their testing, some that'll be in their background phase, some that'll be going to final interview, while some haven't even tested yet because they haven't selected those dates. Trying something different. It's gonna be a little more logistically hectic.
Sounds like
Yeah, it's gonna be, it's gonna be more intensive on me, because I'm gonna have to really be on top of things and where are people at, and, you know, and so, but we got to do something different, you know, because I have so many openings that,
I'm sorry, Scott, what the cutoff is 30, is it 40? What's
For
the
what?
cutoff for the police officer?
for the list,
No, the
No,
age.
the age.
oh, no, you can be, you have to be retired at 66 years old, I think, so 65 and 364 days in the state of Iowa. Yeah,
Oh.
now, you're not gonna see,
Right, no.
50.
You would, okay.
now,
Okay.
recently, though, we've had, I did 5 processes in 2022. We had some 40s, individuals in their 40s.
And I'm sorry, is that different for firemen? Or no?
No, I think it's about the same.
Okay,
Now, you have to be 21 to be a police, and firefighter too, you have to be 21.
okay.
So we don't hire anyone, under the age of 21.
Sure.
But,
You hire them over 40 though.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for some reason.
If they can pass the physical ability testing and they can pass our process, they can, someone who is 55 years old could decide they want to be a police officer.
Wow, okay.
I don't anticipate we'll see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's right.
but
Yeah.
Because
what
that
what I
physical
saw in
ability.
2022 though is individuals in, changing careers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Deciding I want to do something different. Or given the national conversation about law enforcement and policing, that is still happening, some people have decided, you know what, I want to be part of that conversation now.
Sure.
I want to be out there, part of the solution, and, they've turned out to be phenomenal officers, because they've had that lived experience
Sure.
and that wisdom that they're bringing to law enforcement. So
Wow.
this is a process, yeah, so as we go through the next 23, I'll be talking a lot about this. I do have a couple flyers there. Feel free to take those, display those. I can send some digital copies if that is more useful for you too. One thing that I would like your help on is within your personal and professional networks, your social networks that we all have, help spread the word that Davenport is hiring. Now, one thing that we always talk to applicants about is there's a lot of different areas of law enforcement, okay? There's municipal, which is Davenport, Moline, Rock Island, but then there's also small municipal, medium, we're a medium, and there's large. Someone may want to go to Chicago, be Chicago PD. But then there's also county, which operates differently than a city. Then there's state patrols, state troopers, and then there's also federal. So people have to kind of determine where do they want to fit in. And we're trying to find always the qualified applicants that want to work in a medium-sized, progressive, what I would say progressive, police department. That's fairly busy, as you can just see on the news. We're the busiest, we're the largest in the Quad Cities. One thing that's nice, though, in the lower right corner of the flyers, we're CALIA certified or accredited. The Council on Law Enforcement Accreditation is a very arduous process. There's like 400 or 500 standards that they apply to an accredited law enforcement agency. And if you meet every single one of those standards, which are considered the best practices within policing, then you receive accreditation. The Davenport Police Department has been accredited since 2003. So since 2003, the policies and procedures and the way that Davenport does business is considered the best practices in the industry. And from what I understand, less than 5% of law enforcement agencies across the country are accredited. So that's kind of give ourselves a gold star when it comes to how the department is run. It's everything that they do is considered the best practices. And every couple of years, the department has to go through a process to be reaccredited. So it's an arduous process, but there's a lot of time that is taken. But that is one cool thing that Davenport has.
Scott, to what you just said at the end, the details about how many percentage of police departments are under this. Do you mind if there's any text anywhere? Because I'm going to share this with the faculty who does criminal justice.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk about it because, and I'll bring something further later, Vera, when we go into. So if you don't mind sharing that
I can.
part,
Yeah.
I would love to share that with them and kind of have that highlight when I speak to them.
Yep. And then also throughout, another help that I need. We had some great success when it comes to hiring African-American, Asian, and Hispanic males. We had some very good candidates over 2022. I did not hire or did not have on any list a female.
Female?
Gender diversity was a struggle.
That was
Not
a
one.
struggle the year before too.
It was, yeah, it's been a while since I've had a female. Now, we've had some tests, but they can't pass, they have not passed. And then I've had a lot of calls from female applicants who are being discouraged by their families for getting into the career. Understand that, okay, I get that. I've even placed, or some of our current female officers in contact with them to talk about but any help you can in your networks too. We need more female officers over there. Females make very good officers. So that's been a struggle.
More level-headed, of course.
That's right. And like you said earlier, telegram, telephone, or tell a woman. Tell a woman, female officer, yeah.
Oh, he kept that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I did, it just rolled right off.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, Troy.
Do you have any idea for how many complaints we had in terms of, so I know there's a Civil Rights Commission.
Yes.
So if there was a complaint filed against the city for,
It would be in the annual report, and let me share that with everyone. I don't have that with, but we do post that.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume the last one may not be 22, because 22 is probably being worked on, so probably 21. But I can make sure everyone gets a copy of that.
okay, and the nature of the complaint?
I think it specifies that in the
Okay.
annual report, yep. Mhm. So, so your help on that process would be good. Any other questions on police
We have,
before I go to fire?
no, not police or fire specifically, but you have shared with us, and you have shared with us right now too, about, there are sometimes there's a hesitation on how people are doing their exams, they need help sometimes, and things like that, like, mathematics, and during the last, November, that's when we were talking about, they need help sometimes with mathematics or English for that matter, testing. So I did bring this up with 3 of our faculty members and the heads of the departments, and they were really keen on seeing how they can help
Okay.
the police department and the process that we discussed. And I said, if you'd like to know more, is it okay if I give them your email address to continue the conversation? Because what we started to think was, and it was, I gave it a little, I won't say spin, but we were talking about if a student can be a tutor, in the sense, when it comes to mathematics, we have education department, there are students who are going to teach mathematics or English or whatever. And all 3 were very interested. One is the English head of the department. Her husband teaches Master of Criminal Justice as well. So both of them are willing to work together on this. And the other person was the faculty from the mathematics department. She said, this sounds very interesting because we can develop an association and a program. So I said, would you like to talk more? And they said, that would be great. So is that okay if I could,
absolutely.
make a connection with you?
Yeah.
Because they're interested in helping the testing part of our candidates.
Because our candidates have to pass the testing. For the physical
Right.
ability, they have to do
Right.
sit-ups, push-ups, and a 1.5-mile run
Right.
based on their age and gender. And they have that information before they even test with us, so they can start, working on that. But still, people fail
Right.
those components. And then the post is mathematics, reading comprehension, spelling and grammar, and incident report writing.
Right.
So, and it's usually the mathematics portion, because you can't use calculator or Excel.
Calculators.
It's long form. Division back in the day, no, I haven't done that in decades. So that people
Yeah.
struggle with
I
that.
can only do percentage off, and that's because I like the clearance job. I can do that math real quick.
So we have individuals that, for the physical side, they can't, so they have to work on that. But the written exam side as well, there's an opportunity for them to come back and retest at a later time. But, maybe in the meantime, some mentorship or some coaching would be good.
And they feel it would be a good balance for the student as well. where, you
Yeah.
know, he or she, they can have that teaching moment
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
as well. But of course, I mean,
Yeah.
the professor will oversee it
Of
or
course.
help,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And
So-
some people get anxiety just on taking a test, and it's timed. Each section is timed, and you have a certain amount of time to do this, and then the second section, you have a certain amount of time. So I can, the
Are
anxiety.
the requirements for the physical test available if they follow the QR code?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the qualifications are
Yeah.
general
that-
ones, but I mean, like the specific, like what they need to do to pass.
Exactly. Everything is on that website. It's davenportiowa.com/policecareers. That QR code takes you right there. And it has all the information, that is required of them. Yeah, I do my best to make sure they're flooded with information and that they know that, hey, when they are showing up to test on this particular day, this is what they need to do. Okay? And, in the past, when someone has not been successful, they've had to wait until I opened up the process again. Because, you know, this process was a singular open and shut process. They'd have to wait to the next process. Now that I'm keeping it open, when someone doesn't pass on a particular first test date, I'm gonna tell them, come back on one of the other test dates that we've got, try again. So that may increase our applicant pool potentially too. That's gonna be something else that's gonna be a little different with this particular process.
Is that for testing, in physical
Yeah.
as well? Okay.
Yep.
Both of them, okay.
Now, the only caveat to that is there's only 3 forms of the written examination. There's Form A, B, and C. So if they fail all 3, they're gonna have to wait at least 90 days before they can retake the first form that they took. So again, there's gonna be, it's just more logistics on my part of figuring it out, but I have to work with the testing company on that. So, just in the interest of time, since it's 4:32, we wanna, move on to fire department. So that next sheet that you have is just a bunch of data. It's out of our hiring software that, it's called NeoGov. It's what we use, for all our applicants for every position. But what I've printed out for you is the applicant flow for our firefighter process last time that we did. They certified a list of 40. I was very jealous. My colleague Gina, she runs the firefighter process, and she had 40 candidates on her list. Yeah, I'm jealous, but I'd love to have 40.
And they all went through the process?
They're the 40 that passed the process, yep. So, but you can see on the front page, application received, we had 159 individuals apply for the firefighter. 148 were qualified to move on, so there was 11 that were not qualified to move on. And then they had to go to the CPAT, which is their version of the physical ability testing that is specific to firefighters. So 148 were invited to do that. So out of that, only 50 passed. Now, that doesn't mean all 148 showed up. Some, again, it's just like police officer. People don't sign up, people don't show up, so they essentially exclude themselves, but 50 passed. Or no, I'm reading that wrong, I'm sorry. 103 went to the final,
And 23 passed.
so only 23 passed. Oh, they did, it's the two, so the live practice and the final, they can do either one, so there were actually, there were 71 that were invited to the written exam, so out of the 148 that were qualified to test for firefighter, 71 passed their physical ability testing and were invited to go to the written examination, which at that particular time, 61 passed. So 61 were interviewed for firefighter. Then they went into the background phase. You turn the page over, you see that we've got, since the list can only be 40, the top 40 scores were placed on the list. And this is the race and ethnic breakdown. So of that, 37 were Caucasian, 1 African American, 1 Hispanic, 1 Asian. And of that, females were, in that mix, there are 4 females. So I can provide this type of data for pretty much any position within the city. And I'll have this type of data for the police officer process that we go through for you to show too. But you can see how we need help. I think I think all industries need help in increasing the diversity of their hires. We're having some success, just not enough. We're having better success with the police department than we are with the fire department. But the fire department's getting more candidates. But they're mostly white males. Yeah. So, but they're struggling for females too, but they're getting some females. So,
I wonder if you could, next time, if you could provide the ethnicity breakdown for just the whole city.
yeah. And I've got, and I'll send a electronic copy again. You probably all have this. It's the, you don't, Tyler, but you will. I'll send you the Inclusion and Equity Plan. I think it's page 11 in there. It does have, no, page 8. Does have kind of the breakdown on various departments, Parks and Rec, Public Works. So when this was updated, October of 2020, so I need to go back through, Parks and Rec has 17% minority representation. Public Work has 12%. Fire has 7%. Library has 10%. Community Planning and Economic Development has 10%. HR 25%. Police at that time was 13%. So some work to be done. But yeah, I need to go back through and see how those numbers have been updated. But I'll send a electronic copy of that to everyone, so you have.
We used to send these electronically too. It's just easier
Yeah,
to then
absolutely. Yep.
forward
Yep.
to the different groups.
Yep.
Also, a few other positions we have opening right now. If you know of anyone who is kind of a software developer within the IT world, we do have an opening for a developer. Pay range on,
They probably won't be in Davenport.
yeah, maybe not, yeah. Pay range on that is 75 to 99,000. We're looking for an engineering project manager in Public Works. That's a $70 to $92,000 spread. Forestry technician, if you know of anyone in the forestry industry, that's a $45 to $56,000 pay range. Those are the full-time positions that we're currently looking for. We have a lot of part-time positions as well. I didn't write those down though, but
Just today,
we're always hiring.
Just today, when you said that, library is looking out for a part-time senior clerk. Now, when you say library, immediately the feeling is, oh, library science, degree of library and information science, and that's not the case. It's part-time, and that's something which, I'd like to share with you all. If you know anybody who's willing to work, $18.18 is $18.18 is the part-time position. You don't require a library science degree. You need to have a GED.
It's customer service.
It's customer service,
Yeah.
but it's a senior clerk position, and most of the times part-time positions do develop into full-time positions at the public library. So when you were reading that, I was just today posting about that and talking. So if you know anybody, I'm sorry, I had to talk about the library.
Of course.
Malavika's also on the Library Board of Trustees with Davenport. And she's, of course, the librarian at St. Ambrose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know anyone, public library.
Malavika likes libraries.
Yes.
Yes, she does.
Any questions for me on anything we've talked about? I'm also running, I forgot to mention, at the police department, running a promotional process for corporal, which is the first rank within the police department. It goes, you have police officer, then you have corporal, then you have sergeant, then you have lieutenant, captain, major, chief. That's the rank structure.
I had to go through all through all that just to get to be. The,
So
to
Jeff Bladel had to go through every single one of those throughout his, 28 years
Okay.
to be chief. Yep. You have to be one before you can go to the next. Yep. So I have corporal open right now. I'll be announcing the process for sergeant, next week. So
So who's
Those are-
applying? Nobody.
we've had some, anytime you have a retirement or, that sometimes, especially if it's someone within the rank structure, that creates an opening and then it's a domino effect down. When Sikorsky left, that opened up the chief. Well, when Jeff was named chief, that opened up the major. Well, that opened up, because Jamie Brown was a captain, promoted to major, that opens up a captain. Well, then a lieutenant is promoted to captain, that opens up lieutenant. And
So
see,
Brown
see,
is he the captain?
he's the major.
He's the major.
Yep,
Yes, he-
yeah,
Good.
yep. So it's a domino effect. So a lot of changes across the street over the last couple years. Some people have left to pursue other opportunities. Some people have decided to retire, but then a lot of these individuals too have been promoted. So it's pretty cool to see.
And these promotions are within as well as sometimes there are people from outside also who apply, right?
Only, yeah, only that would only be for the chief of police. Would
Oh,
be
okay.
external. Could be external.
Oh, okay.
All the other rank structures are internal. Yeah. And Jeff was lucky, well, I wouldn't say lucky, it's just the way it worked out. When that position was open, there was only one other person that applied from some New Jersey,
Oh, wow.
I thought New York.
maybe New York or something,
Yeah.
East Coast. But then he ended up withdrawing throughout the process, so then it was just Jeff was left as the only person, so. Yeah. But, yeah, a lot of good things happening over there. Yeah.
Well, I'm pleased with him.
Yep.
Well, Vera's happy, we're good.
Yep.
If Vera's not happy,
Yes.
nobody's happy.
That's right.
No, but they are, and then even the young man that's in the fire department, Jim, he stayed at my house more than he did at his own house. He grew up and now he's doing well, and I told him, I like to see like I told him when they was trying to get the chief. Why would you go to New York, Pennsylvania, wherever, get somebody you don't even know about? They can write a good resume. And somebody been within the department for years and done a good job, move them up.
Mhm.
Instead of pushing them aside, and then they still in their own position, and you grow animosity within the police department. I say.
Sure.
Yeah. But I told Jim Morris I'm really proud of him.
Yeah. Yep. He's our fire marshal.
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so him and Tim was just like that.
Sure.
So we move on. Is any old business anybody want to talk about?
If there was any old business, it was forgotten in 2022, wasn't it?
Well, we didn't have no meeting.
That's hilarious.
So, if nothing else to come before this body, we can have
So
a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We forgot you're up there, Rory.
I'm still here.
That's good. Well, you get back to Florida living, okay?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
in Florida.
He's in Florida. What part of Florida?
Tampa.
Tampa, yeah.
Oh, they having bad weather in Florida and California. My relatives out there. Oh, everybody moved to California now. There's water, snow, everything.
That's how it is.
Okay,
I'm from
now
California.
Okay.
this meeting adjourned, and thank you all for
Thanks,
coming.
everyone.
I'm so proud everybody had a
Have a good workout.
Christmas.
All right.
You going down to the downtown Y?
Yes.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
That's where I'm gonna have to start going because